Dr. Nicole Alexander Scott responded to a reporter's question at the governor's briefing on Wednesday about the accuracy of the death toll, citing a story of a local man dying in a car crash, but the cause of the death was apparently listed as COVID-19. Alexander Scott said the state is working to distinguish between deaths brought on by COVID-19 itself and the diagnosis and deaths that are circumstantial and not necessarily due to someone having the disease. She said she's very confident in the data that has been put out by the state. The Rhode Island Department of Training said on Thursday that the state is applying to take part in a new unemployment offering that was authorized by an executive order from President Trump. According to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the president made up to $44 billion available from FEMA's Disaster Relief Fund to provide $300 weekly payments to those unemployed because of the coronavirus. A previous $600 a week federal emergency unemployment benefit ran out in July. Last weekend, FEMA announced the first 7 states to agree to administer the new Lost Wages program. Rhode Island College is announcing the closure of the Henry Barnard School at the end of this academic year. RIC officials said yesterday the closure is for financial reasons. The college also said the educational model that the school was founded upon as a laboratory school for RIC teaching candidates is no longer considered best practice in teacher education. Henry Barnard is described as the first laboratory school in Rhode Island and one of the first in our country. Well, New England Patriots fans might be worried that they won't be able to attend any home games this season. Already 2 of the games at Gillette Stadium in September are going to be off limits after the previous plan was to let about 20% capacity get in. Massachusetts Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito says that yesterday the state is willing to consider letting fans back in for the remaining games, depending on what the coronavirus circumstances are and whether or not we let Rhode Islanders back in at all. Good morning, and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
Welcome into Coffee Ann on ON AM and FM, 1240 AM, 99.5 FM on this Friday morning. It's August 21st. Thanks for joining us this morning. My name is Joe Callahan. At the Coffee Ann table, let's say good morning to Dave Richards. Good morning to you there, Dave.
Yes, good morning, Joe. Good morning, everybody. Lovely day.
And back after a month-long sabbatical. Former mayor of the town of Cumberland, Bill Murray, is with us. Good morning,
Was that paid time off, by the way?
Yeah, I think it was paid. I think I saw the check. Good morning, good morning, everyone. I agree. What a beautiful day and a nice start to the weekend.
Did you go around the world, visiting the subcontinent and all that?
I'll tell you, my 4 walls of my condo are really starting to close in. But my wife and I have never been closer.
Oh, well, good. Well, you have to be.
So something comes, yes.
Never been closer. I like that.
I know she's not listening. But my kids supervise everything we do now, so I'm in the hands of my 5 kids now. And
there you go.
I understand they always are worried about us, but I'll tell you, this is something I've never faced in my long
nobody has.
career.
I was speaking to a veteran of World War II who told me, he says, ain't seen this since the war.
Yeah.
He said nothing since World War II has ever affected the American public so completely as what we're going through now. So if you want to know what it was like back then, look around.
Mm-hmm.
It's on everybody's lip because it touches everybody's, no matter what strata you're in, no matter what job you have, no matter what you do. If you're in this country, it affects you.
Great point.
Mm-hmm.
Great point. I've been through, at my age, I've been through the corporate world.
Sure.
With financial breakdowns in 85 and then in 90, 91 again. So ones that were serious. 2006, I can remember, when it was a mess. And then we had, if you remember, everybody really remembers that snow blizzard that we had and how that shut everything down.
Yeah.
But
still, those are all regional things.
But you've never in your life seen such. Everybody's been touched by this. In some way, somehow, and it's really something to behold. I guess.
It comes home to you when you, for some reason, on my way from one channel to another channel on the pay cable TV, one of those rare moments when I actually had the remote. I punched in a wrong number because I'm so unpracticed because I usually don't get the remote that often.
Yeah.
But I punched in the wrong number, and it came up. There was Indy-style racing in Germany at the Berlin airport. A section of it was cordoned off, and they were doing actual races. Some international racing was going on, and it was just ending. They brought the winning car out there, and everybody had masks on except for the driver.
Yeah.
And then he was given wasn't given one. He had one in the pocket of his racing suit. And he put it on to make the speech after. There was no big confetti and everybody cheering and stuff like that. But there were some officials that were there, and of course the photographers and that sort of thing like that. And everybody was masked. And this was Berlin, Germany. Sure. It gives you an idea of just how widespread it really still is.
Well, I'm a great sports fan. I was watching Korean baseball. I'm sure Joe, knowing Joe, I'm sure he was too.
Yeah.
What's Korean for strike?
It's the same word.
Yep. And I'm telling you, you see that and you say, first of all, when have we watched Korean baseball? I've never.
No.
So,
and why would you?
And then you see.
But it's better than watching the Red Sox some nights.
As a Yankee fan, I'm not commenting. I get into enough trouble.
They lost the last two.
Yes, we did.
The Yanks have lost the last two.
We just lost two more players on the DL.
Yeah.
So
That's too
no,
bad.
but that's the thing. You look and say, I've never seen everything like it. You look at these riots. When do we ever see? Peaceful protest is one thing, but out and out, rioting is and hurting people is another.
Mm-hmm. You're looking good. Last time you were here, you had a cane on, so no cane today.
No, I bounced back pretty good. I'm out walking. Again, to get away from the condo, I walk about a mile and a half to 2 miles every day.
Up and down Bear Hill Road.
I do.
Good.
I do. Bear Hill. Even though there's no sidewalks, I won't get into that controversy. But
you figure the guy could have put sidewalks in when he was mayor.
I would think. Who was that guy? That's the thing, and it's fine. But I do a lot of walking, and keep my weight down and whatnot. So I feel real good. I'm glad I finally did it.
So speaking of Cumberland. What do you think of the roundabouts, the rotaries at 295? I think they're working out great, by the way.
Well, I'm glad you said it before. Yeah. As you know, I got taken over the barrel about it because I was the one that led the charge on those roundabouts.
But now, what are people saying?
I haven't heard one comment about it not being. Now they see what we were trying to tell them.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, when the plans first came, and you've heard me tell the story on this station, is that originally the plan came in to have lights. There would have been 4 lights in a row from Chapel down to the industrial park.
That would have been a wreck.
Chief Damaris talked to me, and he said, Mayor, this is not a good idea because he said people are going to be speeding through here.
Yeah.
And you'll still have the problem of people coming head on. Mm-hmm. And so, in any case, we talked to the DOT. They said, "Well, we have another plan," and that was the plan they offered. But when they offered that, if you remember the controversy of what are you doing, and everybody took us, over the coals. And but we fought through it, and I have to applaud the DOT and the director Alviti for. Listening, working with us, and I thought that was very, very helpful. And now that it's all over, and I go through there 3 or 4 times, because I live there now, which was at the time I worked on it, we were not living there. And I'll tell you, it is just exactly what they said it would be, and you never have a problem. Now they used to be backed up
onto 295,
on 295 all the way back to Mendon Road in one direction, or back to the Attleboro line. That's how bad it was. And people don't realize that when we get into this, Joe, one of the things that started it was the accident report, because people coming east off 295 had to go across traffic. We were lucky that we never had a fatality there.
Yeah.
But there were some close calls because people come over the hill, barreling to get to Chapel, and somebody's coming out of the exit to go left to go north on Diamond Hill Road. And thank goodness we never did. Now you don't have any problem. You have I don't think, and many times I go through there, I've had to stop more than a couple of seconds. You just kind of be careful and whatnot.
Slow down.
And that's it. So, and I've talked to many people that have just praised it now. Even Chapel, which was a mess. There's new light.
Yeah, that's better down there now,
Yeah,
too.
there's new lights, so they're timed better. They were really handicapped. They wanted to do a little bit more there, but they were handicapped. But if you're going west on Bear Hill Road, you can take a right. There's a right-hand lane. That solves that Bear Hill problem. And then the timing of the lights now is so you really don't wait that long, And I've talked to, because I obviously use Seasons and Honeydew and Dunkin' Donuts, and people say it's so much better. The traffic used to be such
Getting
a
in and
backup.
out?
Yeah,
Okay.
and they had one minor glitch because on where the church is, and we have that monumental so-called rock there.
Yes.
They were handicapped about that. But in fact, even now that I'm out of there, they asked me to come to. It was a meeting there because we were worried about the fire trucks turning, and that's all been solved. So they've really solved every problem that we've had in there.
Are they going to name the rock after you?
They Rockhead, is that what they used to call me? Yes, I think that's probably close to true.
But do you wake up every day, Bill, and just say, "Boy, I'm so happy I'm not the mayor dealing with this whole COVID-19
Can I
thing."
be honest with you?
Yes, I want you to be honest with me.
I miss it.
Oh, do you?
I really do.
Okay.
Although I do say, you're exactly right, I do wake up and say, "Oh my goodness, this is." But you know me.
But can you imagine being on conference calls all the time?
Oh, I know.
With other mayors and with the governor,
Well,
almost every single day.
Well, I talk because the business I'm in now, part-time business that I'm in, is an energy business that I deal with the municipalities. So I talk to all my friends.
Okay.
Don, Mayor Grebian, Dios, and what they're going through is just hell on wheels. And it's not just the calls. It's the uncertainty because they don't know where their money's coming from. That's your biggest problem.
We just had the North Smithfield Town Administrator, Gary Zosky, on.
Gary's a great guy.
He had to send out the tax bills, hoping they're correct.
Well, Pawtucket sent it out, and they knew already that it was going to cost them millions of dollars.
So you would have been in the same boat.
Absolutely, and I have to say it publicly that I'm friendly with Mayor Mutter. He'll call me on certain things. I'm not saying we're, buddies, but we're, have the same interest in making Cumberland a good place, good community. And just talking to him, he's scratching his head. He just came up with a great bond idea for some monies to go into Diamond Hill, which if you want to talk about, I'll give you a little background to it. But he's in the same boat. They passed the budget, and of course, my good friend Craig Dwyer is the president of the council. He'll be going off after this term, and they don't really know what the budget's going to look like. The budget they have is not going to be the budget that's going to be in 6 months from now.
Right.
So,
as someone that was the former mayor, and now you look at it from the outside. What are your thoughts on the governor and how she's been handling everything?
Well, I was very close with the governor, but I'm very disappointed. I have to say, I'm very disappointed in some of the things she's had. She's had a tough thing, like every governor, so I'll give her that credit. I think she's been, doing her best. But the weakness that I see, and it ties in, and people say, "Oh, you're a great friend of Lieutenant Governor," which I am, is that she has neglected the small business people. And as you know, Lieutenant Governor McKee has been, a champion of that movement of of helping the small business. He's a former small business owner anyway, and I think she's failed them. I talk to people because I still have a lot of friends in Cumberland that own restaurants and whatnot, and they're struggling and they can't get the extra money that she's holding back on, and so I don't think she's dealt with that small business area too well, and it's needed badly, because what you have to look at, and I had to look at it as mayor, is that if you lose that tax base and these people go out of business, this is a blow to your revenue, and you don't get it back. I've been in the position of losing a couple of businesses and saying, oh, they'll be replaced. They don't get replaced that fast, and I think even now it's going to be even tougher for people to get back, start new businesses. So I just think she's failed on that. Other than that, I think it's a very tough job. I have to say that. I'm disappointed that she hasn't used the lieutenant governor. So there's some type of political rift there, and I don't know. So this is not me with a story behind it. Mm-hmm. Is that I'm just I think she could have used the lieutenant governor better as her, and granted, but they're also in the same party.
Right.
But it's a political deal, and. Because he's an asset to them, because he knows the business world, And now you got the problem with the schools, and that's going to be another big controversy.
Sure. All right, we're going to take a break here in the Coffee Amp program. More is coming your way. Comments and questions can be called in, 766-1240, or email them in to coffee@onesocketradio.com.
Many of the items available at Wilfred's Seafood are made right in-house, like their award-winning chowder, seafood salad, stuffed clams, crab cakes, and oven-ready entrees with 5 choices. Wilfred's Seafood also carries everything you need to make your own clam cakes. Look for their weekly specials on many of your favorite seafoods, including swordfish, scallops, haddock, cooked shrimp, and salmon fillets. Wilfred's Seafood on Cumberland Hill Road, Woonsocket. Open at 7 a.m. weekdays and 8 to 4 on Saturday.
Weekly specials at Wilfred's Seafood, good until April 25th. Seafood salad, $3.99 a pound. Little neck clams, $3.99 a dozen. And tilapia fillets, $3.99 a pound. Also, deluxe baked stuffed lobsters, $24.95 each. Please call at least 1 hour ahead at 401-769-6260. It's Wilfred's Seafood on Cumberland Hill Road, Woonsocket.
Navigant Credit Union wants you to know that in spite of what some are saying about the economy, their thoughts are always with you, the Navigant member. If you have a small business or are involved in the management of one, you might want to talk to Navigant's Commercial Lending Department. If you need capital to expand or purchase new equipment, call the Business Lending Department at 401-233-4700. They'll visit your office and work with you to create a plan to get you the money you need without the usual problems. For more information, call 233-4700. Your success is Navigant's business. Navigant Credit Union. Let's enjoy the journey together.
The Coffee Amp panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
It's the worldwide sound of ON Radio.
All right, it's Coffee In here on ON AM and FM. Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards, who's being exceptionally quiet today.
Well, I'm riveted to what our guest is saying.
And that is former mayor of Cumberland, Bill Murray.
Does that mean
if you
he's
want
in
me
agreement
to comment, you can just simply look at me. I don't want to cut this man off. He's interesting.
Well, it's tough to cut Bill off.
Oh, thank you.
Even in a rotary.
That's
true.
So, all right, let's get your opinion then, Bill, on what schools. And do you think they should open in the fall? Should we go with all distance learning? Yeah. You've got family members that are in the education field.
I have.
What are they saying?
Well, as you know, I have a daughter that's been 20 years a speech pathologist in Woonsocket at Pothia School, and I have another daughter that's a teacher in Massachusetts. And the bottom line is, if they're safe, they really believe, and I believe, kids have to be back to school. I see my grandchildren who are well-formed, have plenty of things to do, but missing that connection with their fellow students is a big thing, and especially in the younger ages, and I think and then I've heard stories with these high school. I talked to a young man who's a teacher at Shea High School, and he said it was brutal trying to get these people on this virtual learning process, because they didn't want to, there's no supervision.
They're at home, they're on their own.
Exactly. And
well, I'm not going to do this.
And you've heard parents say they're down in the basement and they're playing a game thinking that they're on there. So
they're learning,
your education is really taking a hit on this. And you got to listen, and I agree fully that it has to be a safe opening. But, one of the biggest things that's come up is this ventilation problem. We've had ventilation problems in all our schools in Cumberland and every other community because of the age of the schools. Now, when I was mayor, we put in 2 ventilation systems in both middle schools that cost $4 or $5 million. So it wasn't. So where are you going to get this money to make so-called atmosphere perfect? You're not. So you make the best of it. I mean, you look at office buildings the same way. You're in an old office building. You don't have the ventilation system.
Well, look at the town hall in Cumberland. How old is that building?
You don't want to look at it. I mean, that's a good point. It's we didn't even have, because we have different air conditions set in the windows. Some of the windows don't work. Absolutely.
Okay.
But you can't have that to be the handicap that creates poor learning, position. These kids have to be back. You want the teachers safe, obviously, and I got 2 daughters that are teachers. You want the kids safe, but you want them you want them to continue the learning process, and I think that's so important. If you have a step back, I feel bad. Again, you know me, I'm a big sports guy. And I just feel bad for the loss of some of these kids that especially when you get into your senior year. I have a grandson up in Reading, Mass, who's quite a baseball player, and he's now going to miss the fall sports in Reading, and then all of a sudden he'll be in a senior year, and before you know it, they're out. And how about some of these kids that no problem on their end? But how about these kids that are, when this corona, they were shut down, who were ready to go into college and needed that year? Because that senior year in high school, I've seen it in my own boys, are all athletes who went on to college to play athletics. And I think it's just a shame what's happened there.
I think about that because it may happen in Rhode Island. It's probably going to happen in Massachusetts. They're going to move the fall sports to the spring.
Right.
Well, let's use the example. What if a player plays football and baseball? Now they're both being played in the spring. Do you have to choose one?
Okay.
Well, which one do you choose?
Well, there's another problem, too, that the colleges are facing. I just read about it, is that you move it to the spring, how many of the top athletes are going to play, because they're going to say, I don't want to get injured in the spring and then
and miss the next fall.
miss my going into college and whatnot. So you're going to have, and the same thing in high school. A lot of these high school players are, looking for scholarships, and what is the coach going to see? Who was it? Saban said that it's going to be like a JV game. So you're not going to have the quality of play that will help some of these better athletes. So I think it's going to hurt right along. There's so many. I hate to go back to my family all the time, but I got a big family. I have a granddaughter that's down in at PC as a senior, and she's a music. She's on a music scholarship and everything.
Is this affecting her?
Huh?
Is this COVID-19 affecting?
Well, yeah, they are. They're waiting to hear because there's so many kids they can put together. Now, what they're trying, PC is trying, is maybe a big tent on the grounds, and have the kids. I mean, and she's in a couple of the very top orchestras there. You know, and that's her major. You know, so.
Dave, didn't we have the story yesterday that Providence College said they were going to like randomly test the students on campus? I thought that was from yesterday.
I don't think I saw that. No,
I haven't heard.
I know the big thing is Massachusetts made the national news now after being on our local news yesterday, is saying there ain't going to be no school kids here in January that haven't had a flu shot.
Mandatory
So whether
flu
you
vaccines.
like them or you don't like them,
Yeah.
that's what it's going to be. They're all going to get a regular flu shot, or they ain't coming back to school after Christmas vacation.
Yep.
And there's a lot to
No choice.
Yeah, and
No choice.
I don't argue with that. I mean, they're getting that shot to prevent having a problem with other children. See, that's the other thing, is it kind of it's a steamroll effect. That how about these the kids with the masks? Look at these colleges now. These kids went back to college, and I gave a lecture to my kids.
Oh, like the Holy Cross
Well,
students?
you can name them: Notre Dame, North Carolina. They all get in, and they all started partying and no mask, and now they're shutting
Now
them
they're
down.
all sick.
So
Not all sick, but
Well, no, but Holy Cross came up with positive cases.
yeah.
yeah, oh no, they all did. Notre Dame shut down.
Yeah.
And so you go ahead and you're spending $60,000-$70,000, and your kid is working out of an apartment or a basement or something, and I think it's irresponsible on the kids' parts, but they don't feel like there's a problem. And you made the good point about we were talking about the racing, and everybody had a mask on. You know, some of these countries have you have to wear a mask, and we've been, because there's the other, although Joe Biden said last night that he's going to mandatory everybody has to wear a mask. That'll kick up a storm.
Yes, it will.
But the point is, do the right thing. You know the mask will help, and if you're going to be in a crowd, use them. You know.
The one with Holy Cross, I don't think you mentioned it in the story, David. Just, he tested positive for it, but was he asymptomatic? Was he just not sick?
It didn't get into that kind of. But here's the thing that everybody has to focus on. You had an outlaw party. Technically speaking, it was off campus.
Yes.
But campus police came and broke it up because they knew about it. Mm-hmm. And it was against school rules, even more than it was against Massachusetts rules, but it was against both. And so they came down because they wanted to see who was there and then go back and check it against the rolls. So now they know everybody's name who was there when the campus police got there. The fact is, one of them tests positive afterwards because they compel them to get a test.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them tests positive. Well, if one tested positive and they came in contact with 6 other people there at the party, not social distancing, no masks or anything else like it, there is a potential for 7 people now who may also have seen 7 other people at the same party. There's a potential for everybody coming down with it because one person had it.
Right.
That's what nobody seems to focus on.
You're right.
I'm not going to get it, or you're overreacting. It's like baloney. The fact is that if I've got peanut butter on my hand, that's the hand over there I shake hands with, and I go and I shake hands with people at a party, everybody's got peanut butter. Mm-hmm. That's just the way it is. And now you can pick this stuff up a few feet around you. If you sneeze, if you breathe, and you happen to breathe it in, there's all this stuff. Well, that's what they're up against, and the youngsters, I just learned in the hard way. As youngsters have done for time immemorial, learn the hard way. Mm-hmm. And the best we can do as adults is just pray that our kids survive their mistakes.
Yeah, but there's another part of this too, and they say, well, the rate of having a major problem in that age group is very low, as we know.
Well, no, they're stronger to survive it, so they're fearless. Remember, they're completely fearless.
But how about this kid? And I said this to my granddaughter who came up to have dinner with us when she got back to school. Mm-hmm. I said, you better be careful at school. Your grandmother and I have been very careful. Our family's been careful. about the kids being there. We don't see our grandchildren; we see them from a distance.
Right.
But these kids that have gone back to college, now they come home. So
The family gets it.
Exactly, and so in a family, you've got people, elderly,
Sure. Of all
the
ages.
grandparents, the parents, and now you have another problem that's piggybacked off the problem that the kids are causing, and they don't. I don't say all kids, but they don't seem to care. They think of themselves, and then I'll be fine. But what are you doing to?
They're still learning.
Well, I think you and I talked off the air, and that's exactly. These are bumps in the roads that these kids have to learn, and it's going to be.
Unfortunately, they can bump and take down someone else in the family.
Absolutely.
I mentioned this on the air once before, so audience, forgive me for repeating, but I don't think Bill heard this. There's a professional wrestler, Dallas Page.
Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah, well, we just call him DDP. Never use his name. But he's a retired professional wrestler, and he has a gym. He lives in Atlanta, Georgia. He has a gym, workouts and stuff like that. He has this big yoga thing going on nationally.
Yep.
And so anyway, but as soon as this thing hit, and Atlanta was one of those places that tried to open up real soon.
Oh yeah.
Now, first of all, he's first to close. Never opened up again. He says nobody's going to get it from me. You're going to be safe about this. He says you got to be very, very careful. And wouldn't you know, he came down with it. How did he come down with it? His daughter went to a wedding shower.
Okay.
A baby shower,
Yep.
sorry. A
Yep.
baby shower.
Sure.
How do you not go to a baby shower? And she ended up coming home with it, gave it to him.
Yeah.
So it's all this unintended consequences that older folks are a bit more alert for than younger folks are. Younger folks haven't seen the unintended consequences the same way we have. They just haven't seen as much as we have
No.
in life. So this is why it happens with
Yeah.
them.
Well,
They're still wonderful people.
Yeah.
I'm sure they don't mean to, I think I'm going to go home and give Grandpa the COVID-19. No,
But-
nobody says any of that.
But if you remember, even before this even started, kids are they don't feel anything's going to happen to them.
Well, that's just the way it
don't
was.
speed in a car because you could get killed.
I know, but I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Until
this
after
is not new.
After 5 or 10 years of driving, you've seen so many other stupid
Sure,
drivers.
Absolutely.
And things happening for no good reason
Right.
because you've seen stupid
Right.
drivers have a bad day and other people suffer from it.
Right.
Then you start becoming more cautious. You're right. You're right.
And you look at it, and I mean, one of the things that we all go through is the kids who we all love, and we see them. Now you can't even get near them anymore.
Right.
There's no hugs or kisses or anything.
That's tough.
I know people in my age group, grandparents that are listening to this show right now. Are can't see their grandchildren or can see them but can't touch them.
Yeah,
in other
yeah.
words, this is a big thing. I know it is for us. Is that it's so hard,
It's
or,
a communist conspiracy. I've said it over and
I do
over.
say-
The whole thing is
I'm starting to go along with you
is a
now.
communist conspiracy. They're doing it just to wreck the fabric of America.
Yep.
All right, break time here on Coffee In. It's time for the forecast, being brought to you by CVS. Today, sunny and a high near 85. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 65. Saturday, mostly sunny and a high near 88. Saturday night, partly cloudy, low 66. Sunday, partly sunny, high near 89. Monday, mostly sunny and a high near 90. And currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, we have sunny skies and 73 degrees. CVS pharmacists have a tool designed to look for ways that may help lower your prescription costs. Visit CVS today. Savings vary. See store for details.
Call 877-DRIVE-ED.
Who's Ed? That's the number for Levante's Auto School.
You can't wait to get your license. You want to get behind the wheel and drive. Let's roll. You want to be in control, but you gotta learn how to survive. Levante's Auto School shows you how to learn the rules and keep your cool.
Levante's Auto School understands that teenagers have many commitments, sports, jobs, activities, and to meet this need, Levante's offers an array of classes, evenings, weekends, and one-week holiday and summer programs. Levante's experienced instructors really emphasize what's important behind the wheel, like having a positive attitude, driving defensively, and avoiding distractions. 4-star rated Levante's Auto School, accepting Rhode Island and Massachusetts students.
Call 877-DRIVE-ED.
That's Labonte's Auto School.
And now, Labonte's Auto School is certified by both Rhode Island and Massachusetts to teach the driver's training course over the Internet. No need to wait. Call now.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Rhode Island Army National Guard. Aired by the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, this is Paul Brown.
And I'm Dave Koz. This weekend on the Dave Koz Radio Show, I'll be joined by producer, guitarist extraordinaire, Mr. Paul Brown. Remember, visit DaveKoz.com during the week for all of the details and be here this weekend for Paul Brown and more on the Dave Koz Radio Show.
Hi, fans of smooth jazz. The Dave Koz Radio Show can only be heard on ON, AM and FM, 1240 AM, 99.5 FM every Sunday, twice on Sundays, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., and again 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The Dave Koz Radio Show is brought to you by the Carew Investment Group. It's the Dave Koz Radio Show, and it's right here on
ON, AM, and FM.
This portion of the Coffee and Program is sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspaper.
Is your business struggling to be found on Google? Are you still trying to figure out how Facebook works? Are you wasting your money on social media? Do you just need more customers? If you do, then contact the local digital marketing team at Breeze Digital Media in Lincoln. Breeze Digital Media has programs that are approved by Google and Facebook and are designed to grow your business. Packages start at only $199 a month and include easy monthly reporting so you know where your investment is going. Contact Breeze Digital Media for a free marketing analysis of your business today. Call 401-334-9555, extension 154, anytime, or visit breezedigitalmedia.com/offer.
It is Coffee In here on ON, AM, and FM. This is Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards and former mayor of the town of Cumberland, would be Bill Murray.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked about Diamond Hill Park a little bit before. There's a story on the front page of this week's Valley Breeze from the Cumberland edition. Mayor Jeff Mutter is seeking a $1 million investment in Diamond Hill Park.
Right.
This is in addition to two previous grants of $300,000 apiece to continue the improvements planned at the ongoing park. You happy with this?
I'm very happy with it because people that know me remember that. That was a big initiative on my administration's part, trying to get grants in there. We kind of got boxed out of there because we had the Mercy Woods and we bought all that property up in Mercy Woods. And but Diamond Hill Park is a gem. We wanted to move the pond, we couldn't because of the expense.
Right.
But we had plans. John Stevens, who was still the planning director of Cumberland, he went for a couple of grants. We wanted to fix up the lodge. But anyway, one of the top things when Mayor Mutter ran against me was that he wanted to continue. That was a big thing, and he's done a good job of keeping it on the boards. And I actually he called me to tip me off of what we were doing, and I was thrilled about it. And his idea is to obviously make the park a better place for the town. And the key is, where's the money coming from? Now, he did have some money that was given to him just before he took office from the state, which we couldn't get our hands on. And I applaud it because it comes to Cumberland, not because I didn't get it. But it's not enough. It was $300,000, and then he got a couple of other things, and he's been focusing in on it. So now with this money, the thing that I like about it is the debt service in Cumberland goes out in 2020, is going down, so he can fit it in, and this money it's for recreation, which any community needs badly. And the interest that he'll be able to borrow from, if the taxpayers do agree to this, is going to be low, as you know what interest is now. So it's really a home run in my head But what I really like about it, because they haven't been able to do anything, we purchased that land up at Mercy Woods. And I was adamant about the 17 acres being cut out for recreation. The deal with the Sisters of Mercy, because they'll be leaving, I forget now, I think they within 4 to 5 years, I don't have the file anymore, but 4 to 5 years, they'll be out of that. And that whole 17 acres will be the town of Cumberland's recreation. What they did allow was 2.5 acres to be used immediately. Well, he hasn't been able to do it because he hasn't had the money to do it. If this bond goes through, which is going to be on the ballot, then he'll be able to continue. He can set up the 2.5 acres. My idea, and he seems to be in agreement with it, is that if you can get the 2.5 acres done, because they need water up there, so this is an expense, then it'll take the pressure off the other fields in Cumberland. One of them being the Diamond Hill field, which is an all-purpose field, and we could never get it to a point that it was good because there was too much activity. And by the time nobody was using it, you had 3 months, maybe 2 months at the most.
And
so
most of that was not good
growing
weather.
For because it's like July, August.
Yeah.
And so we always face that.
Yeah.
And they also did a good thing, which I'm happy that I never did it, so I have to applaud them for it, is that we pulled it away from the highway department, and they have an outside group that's fertilizing and taking. So they have a little bit more intelligence to how to treat the grounds that we did, or I have to say when the highway department did it. So that field is better, but the overuse, well, it's not overused now because of the coronavirus. But what's going to happen is that he's going to have this money to fix the parking lot, fix around where the pond is. In fact, I'm hoping he wants to meet with me so that we can compare some notes. So I'm happy he's brought me into the fold, not because I'm an expert on it, but we've done a lot of work on it, and I think he'll listen. And this will be a home run for the not only the town of Cumberland, but all the surrounding areas. People don't realize the people we have from Woonsocket that go to Diamond Hill Park. It's one of the best parks around. So why not utilize it for everybody's benefit,
All right, on a different subject, as being former mayor of the town of Cumberland, you had a lot of dealings with the police department in town. So this whole thing going around the country of let's defund the police must drive you crazy.
You really... I've been very calm.
We've got 20 minutes.
I've been very calm. Is that all? Can we go over? No, it's a serious problem, and it is dear to my heart because we built that new police station.
Yeah.
And I did it to make sure that we had a place, because we were in a very old building. Is that I was so proud of the Cumberland Police, and still I'm still very proud of them. Great police force, but it's not just Cumberland; it's all over. These people are professional.
They have voted in other towns to slash.
I know
budgets for the
but
police.
You know what? They're gonna pay for it down the road because I just heard this morning there's another killing in Providence, and you want to take the money away from the. The problem is, in Cumberland, we have a great police chief in John Damaris. So leadership means a lot, and a lot of communities have great leadership.
Tom Oates here in Woonsocket is fantastic.
I know Tom personally, and I was just going to say Woonsocket. No matter where you look, it's absolutely a benefit to the community. Now the police, if you hurt the morale of the police, which is low. I mean, you look at other places. New York, they've got 50% of their police force now are looking for early retirement.
So Chicago.
Here's the problem. Where do you go to attract, a young person to come into the...
And what kind of person wants to come into a job like that? You wonder about what kind of person. It's just like, it's just like postal workers and politicians. You treat them badly long enough, what quality of person is going to want to do it?
You're absolutely right. Look at, if you look at Providence 2 years ago or 3 years ago, they went out for big recruitment.
Right.
and they had a class because their class is like 25, 30 people. They had 4 or 5 people that had records, but they were only waived the thing to get people in, and that's the problem. Where are you going to replace them? I know the police, a number of the policemen in Cumberland, and they're professional. They're proud of their job. We've had 2 or 3 retired, but I'm not saying that's because of the funding, because they're not happening in Cumberland. I hope not. I don't think it will be. I think Mayor Mutter will stick to his guns because he's very pro. And we only have 38 police officers in Cumberland. So you chop the budget, you eliminate that. You're not going to have anybody on the streets. Now you go to the big cities, and you see this constantly. Is that not only are you lacking the police? Take New York as an example. You take $1 billion out there, and then they take away $800,000 for that special force that they had. Those people are undercover, trying to stop problems before it happens. Now, guess what? They disbanded that.
Yeah, they eliminated
it. He's a cuckoo clock, and excuse me, but. He's off the charts, but now they don't have it, and you see what's happening.
Yeah,
because
crime rate's spiking.
Well, they're not. They usually go after them before it happens.
Yeah,
takes the guns away and everything else. Chicago the same way. Every time you pick up the paper, there's another 5, 6 people killed. Now they tell me in New York, because I have relatives in there, my family's in there, is that you don't want to be in. I got a niece who's a teacher in New York. She has her own apartment. She will not go out after 8 o'clock, and she's probably 32 years old. Won't go out after 8 o'clock because it's so bad there. It's out of hand. And you see it exactly what's happening. Well, look at Portland's a good example. The police don't even want to show up. Why would they?
Yeah.
Not only, it's not just what you're doing to the police force. Then you have a district attorney that's not going to prosecute anybody. So why should the police be involved in this, arrest somebody for doing something, and then they get released? New York is, what is that called, that no bail or something? There's a word for it. You don't have to post bail.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
in
about
New
it.
York. Oh, yeah. No, that's been going on for the last 2 or 3 years. So if somebody gets arrested, they're out the door within a half an hour.
Well, don't worry about it, Bill. It certainly doesn't seem to be going in a good way for law and order. But if the folks who espouse the liberal agenda don't learn from their mistakes, eventually the spin back. The only reason, this is my personal opinion, the only reason that Donald Trump is president of the United States is because Barack Obama pushed too hard and got too much change done too fast and caused an elastic band recoil in the spirit of America that, okay, things are changing too liberal too fast. And so the next president was going to be a conservative. For better or worse, the one they put up was Donald Trump. But that man could, or anyone like him, could not have won had Mr. Obama been of a more moderate tendency.
Absolutely.
It's just, people are natural. When it's too hot, they go someplace, and they may go someplace that's too cold just to get away from the too hot. It's natural. It's in human beings. We all do it. We're all susceptible to those things, whether you know it or not. And so with this one, it might go the other way. But, if you just keep going to extremes, the people in 2/3 of the country aren't happy. And when you got 2/3 of the company never happy, you got problems.
Well, you look at Philadelphia. There's a young lady who's the head of the Black Lives Matter down there. It was on television a month ago, and she said within 5 years. And I know Philadelphia. I had a warehouse down there when I was in the corporate world. It was a tough place 30 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And she says within 5 years in Philadelphia, they won't have a police force. We'll just have social people out in the street. Well, you really better think about that.
Yeah.
And that's the scary thing when you say about the left and the liberals and everything. That's what they want. And in some cases,
but then when they get what they want, they're going to find out it's not what they wanted.
But what is other people are going to get hurt by it.
Right.
That's the problem.
People get hurt all the time.
And it's going to be a serious thing. Now, mistakes could be made, but you're going to take you 3 to 4 years to say, oh, yeah, we made a mistake. We'll have to do it the other way. I hate to see what's going to happen.
All right, we're going to take a break here in the Coffee and program, and Dave's got the Valley Breeze in his hands.
Yes.
So
well, let me just tag up and finish that, Joe.
Right.
I know you have the pressure of the clock that Bill and I aren't feeling because my back is to the clock. I just wanted to say, and there's really bad things happen with rampant conservatism, too. So,
all right.
That's why I'm a moderate. I don't get into too far to the left or too far to the right. I like to stick with the majority of people.
I'm with you on that.
There you go. All right.
Dave's going to
Valley
do
Breeze
an ad for the
newspapers.
Valley Breeze.
Our sponsor for this portion of lively discussion with Bill Murray on our show today. Well, in the I have both editions that we get here at the radio station. We're privileged to get both the Cumberland Lincoln edition and the North Smithfield Blackstone and Woonsocket edition. In the Cumberland Lincoln edition, you'll see right there in the front page, there on camera number 1, that Mayor Mutter is seeking $1 million investment in Diamond Hill Park, as already discussed here. You can read all the details in the story from Ethan Shorey in the Valley Breeze newspapers. Also, crime in Cumberland is down ever since Bill Murray left office. No, I'm only kidding about that. Ethan Shorey's headline says, crime in Cumberland down during pandemic, which is a good thing to hear, I'm sure, for everybody who likes law and order and peace in the. And then, of course, if you ever go by, though, we have one on Park Avenue. They've moved to a couple of different places. These little trailers with the big signs on them that read your speed and tell you how fast you're going to remind you, if you weren't noticing, just how fast you're going. Well, you think that they mean nothing. Well, it says right over here with a story from the Valley Breeze from Nicole Dotson-Rod that in Lincoln they pulled the chip from one of those, and they found in 2 successive weeks in a 25-mile-an-hour zone that, well, most people were kind of complying. It was in the vicinity of 25 miles an hour. But they also found a few stinkers blowing by at 64 miles an hour and 74 miles an hour in a 25-mile-an-hour zone. You'll read about it in the Valley Breeze. All right, in the Woonsocket, North Smithfield, and Blackstone edition of the Valley Breeze, some great stories here. Lauren Clem has 3 fantastic ones, of course, lots of details on the animal shelter in Woonsocket being named for Al Brien that you've heard about. You can get all the details in the Breeze. Also, fascinating story from North Smithfield she has right here, where the candidates for town administrator in North Smithfield, and there are 3 of them, will weigh in for the reporter on questions like the Hallowell School, the police station, and things like that. We heard Gary Azowski, the sitting town administrator, talk about them on Coffee and yesterday. In the Valley Breeze, you can find out what the new guys, or one of them is going to be a new guy, think about those very same topics. Also, there's a great story in there about the Scouts and what they are doing without Camp Yagu to be at this year. That's a tough thing. And then, of course, you can get the story behind the story from Lauren Clem in the Valley Breeze this week about North Smithfield signing a deal with the Sousa family to purchase 114 acres open space off Old Smithfield Road for less than $500,000. When you consider it's 114 acres, that's a pretty good price when you stop and consider it.
Excellent.
All those stories and lots of great ads from local businesses that we really wish that you would support, all in the Valley Breeze. Pick it up. It's free where you shop each and every Thursday. The Valley Breeze brought you this portion of Coffee and.
I'm here with Kara Benjamin of the Benjamin Insurance Agency. Kara, tell me about your agency.
Sure. We started our agency from scratch, which means we opened with no customers. We have grown because of all the family, friends, and locals that supported us over the years. We are proudly woman-owned and operated since 2006. We're a family business, mother and daughter team, so you get 2 different generations coming together to get the best of both worlds.
You're in good hands with Allstate and Kara and Celeste Benjamin of the Benjamin Insurance Agency, 125 Eddie Dowling Highway, across from Dowling Village in North Smithfield, 765-5000.
Our business is truly a referral business, and we have built it based on our premier service level and commitment to what we do. If you are looking for personalized service with people who care, that would be us.
When it comes to kitchen and bath remodel projects, no one wants to feel like they have to tame a lion. That's why the team at Countertops by Superior consistently deliver the highest quality and customer satisfaction you have come to know and expect. Countertops by Superior has a 5-step process to getting new kitchen or bath countertops in your home. First step is a free, all-inclusive, in-home sales quote. Second step is you choose a stone for your countertops. They have beautiful engineered and natural stones. Third step is they will visit your home and formulate an exact template for your countertops. Fourth step is you come back to the showroom to digitally lay the template out on your chosen stone. The fifth step is installation day. Countertops by Superior invites you to their showroom, and you can see for yourself all the beautiful stones in the slab room. No lion taming at Countertops by Superior, 840 Cumberland Hill Road, Woonsocket. Visit them online at countertopsbysuperior.com.
Hi, this is Casey Kasem. We've been counting down the hits together since the days of cool shades, hot pants, and tie-dye shirts. I hope you can join me this weekend when I recount the hits from 40 to number 1, just the way I did back then. It's American Top 40 the 70s right here.
Join Casey counting them down this Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. right here on ON AM and FM, sponsored by Paul Vanas and Associates Real Estate in Lincoln.
It is the Coffee and Program here on ON AM and FM. This is Joe Callahan here with former mayor of the town of Cumberland. Bill Murray is here, and Dave Richards is here with us as well. Let's see, what haven't we got to? Okay. Well, the DNC wrapped up last night, Bill. And
Democratic National Convention.
Thank you. And Biden accepted the nomination. No surprise there. Did you listen to his speech? Did you hear?
I just saw the beginning, and then I have to be honest, I fell asleep and knew I had such an important engagement this morning that I better get my rest so that I would be sharp.
Smart thinking.
Even though I'm getting older, I'm not. I'm trying to avoid being dumb, which is hard for me. I only saw the beginning.
All right. Well, any thoughts early on the Biden-Harris ticket?
To make it official, everybody knows I'm a Democrat and have been a Democrat for a long time, and I've actually met Biden. Remember when he came in about 3-4 years ago into Rhode Island?
Okay.
And all the mayors.
Because they would only send the vice president.
Yeah, and the administrator. We met down in East Providence, actually.
Okay.
And so I met him on a personal, well, when I say personal, not one-on-one, but I found him to be a very nice guy. But when I heard the speech, the only thing that I could really get was what a great guy he was. I didn't hear anything about policies or things. He did mention about the coronavirus and his plan. But what is his plan? Because some of the things he's come out with are exactly what's going on. And I don't care. You can't blame anybody for this virus, and it's a very tough thing to do. And so would do a better job. He's got to come out with a firm plan that's different than the current president and what he's doing. They talk about testing and you talk about this and that. This is being done. This thing is just a serious problem that's hard to get control of.
You can't do it, Bill.
No, you can't.
No, you can't. You can't come out and say what you're saying. What you're hoping that he would say. Come up with a plan, and this is what we want to get done. You just can't do it under these circumstances.
No.
Because the world is on a pro forma right now. Nobody's executing plans that they made before. Nobody's hitting numbers that they expected would happen, because there's one thing you can depend on today. It's unexpected. When we get to the end of 2020, it's going to be the year of the unexpected.
Exactly.
And so you can say, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and something's going to change. You're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to do that. You can say what you want to do, but you can't say what you're going to do. Even in a political arena, everybody knows that it ain't up to you.
Yeah. And you're never right. It's called Monday morning quarterbacking.
Even the President of the United States is at the mercy of what's going on in the world to a certain extent. Now, he might be able to do more about it than you and me, but he's still at the mercy of the circumstances he's given. Right. I don't care if you're the president of the Kiwanis Club or the president of the United States. When you get there, You have your own set of circumstances, abilities, and limitations. And so saying what you're going to do when you get there has always been folly. You can say what you want to do, but then again, he's got all these advisors and highly paid pundits and stuff like that, all saying, "Well, now when you get there, be sure you mention this. Be sure you mention that. Be sure he's got 28 things he's got to mention." And then somebody walks in and says, "Forget all about that stuff. Just give him warm and fuzzies."
Absolutely.
You know, and then you look at it and you make a decision and you go with it. So
until you're in
as you know, the higher up the ladder of society you go, the more wrong you are to more people all the time.
You don't know until you sit in a seat of leadership. And it's always a second guessing. That's why I said Monday morning quarterbacking.
Right.
And it's a difficult stage. But going back to his, he's a genuine guy. I mean, he is a very nice man.
What about that corruption stuff that was smeared on him way back a couple of years ago regards to the Ukraine? Well, he became involved because of his son, and because obviously he was asked to help out, so he tried to help out, and some of it stuck to him. So, but of course, nobody's going to talk about it now because that's. But you know, and we all make mistakes, which we hope to improve ourselves from.
Right.
But what about that stuff then? Does that change your opinion of the man?
Well, you don't know enough about it because the one thing that I found sitting back is that everybody has something to say, and what is true and what is not true. I mean, they went after Trump, and look what came out about the fact that, he wasn't corrupt. They lied on a few of the things.
That's right.
Biden, how do we know that the Republicans aren't lying about what Biden's son did? But that's being in office and being exposed like that. Anything, that's the problem. Nobody's talking about what they're going to do. They're always pointing fingers. And I think that's one of the serious things that we see in this coming election. Biden is pointing his finger at Trump. Trump's pointing his finger back. And then you, as an individual, have to gauge what you feel is the truth. And who's going to lead the country going on. I think when it boils down to it, the economy is going to have a lot to do with it, which really runs. That's the engine.
It's about to hit the tanks right now, from what I can see. You asked about small business earlier.
Oh, I know.
And they came up with a 6-month solution for a year-long problem.
Yep.
And then they sat back and said, well, we put our solution in place, and this is just wonderful. Oh, there's the $600 extra, and you're unemployed. So don't worry about being unemployed. All of those things they did. People bucked up, and they were irritated, and they were disadvantaged, and they were disappointed, and there was a lot of things going wrong.
Yep.
But they weren't poor, and they weren't worried about making ends meet because the money was out there.
Right.
And the small businesses had PPP loans to keep the help there. All of that stuff they buoyed up. That was 8 weeks for us. We're now 5.5 weeks into this. That was 5.5 months into this.
Right.
But that was only 2 months out of 5.5 months that we've gone through this so far, about to be 6 months. So they treated the whole thing like a 6-month problem. Now, just before the election, it's all fallen apart. All the stuff they did to help America through this, all the federal help is just dissolving. Joe?
Well, on that note, we have come to the end of the program. Sorry, Bill.
Well, I had a few other
Did
thoughts.
you have fun?
I always have fun here.
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
So
we have fun having you here.
Well, anytime. You know that.
We don't care if you're a has-been. You're good.
No, thank you. You must be talking to my wife again.